Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This is Brother Taza Pop back here with you again with another lesson, and we're going to kick this off here in Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman." All right, Teman is talking about the people you know as the Germans today. Okay, so the Lord had taken counsel against Edom. Edom are the children, well, the children of Esau, they are the so-called white people today, but they have tribes within their nation, just as Israel has tribes within its nation. All right, the famous 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so Esau, the nation of Edom, also has tribes. Teman is one of the tribes, all right? And so it says again, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom," the so-called white people, "and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman," the so-called Germans today. "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." All right? Now, the least of the flock is in reference to another tribe of Edom, the Amalekites. All right. Now, the Amalekites, you will know them, you will recognize them because they are masquerading as Israelis in the hijacked and stolen land, or the land of Israel. All right. Assuming a stolen identity. All right. Our identity, the identity of the Israelites, which the true Israelites, you wouldn't recognize them today as the predominantly as the so-called black folks, so-called natives, or indigenous people to this land, or the Latinos, so-called Hispanic and Latin tribes of South and Central America. All right, now you got the entire house of Israel here in North America today, especially with this great mass exodus of the Latin tribes, the Northern Kingdom, from South and Central America up into Mexico across the southern border of the United States. All right, so you got all 12 tribes of Israel here in North America because the great judgment is coming. And I'm getting ready, to show you this video, which Alex Jones put out. It had to be either because I didn't see a timestamp, and it's just a little quick segment. Well, it's almost a 7-minute segment, and I'm gonna let it play in its entirety. Okay, but yeah, I don't know if he either put this out Monday or yesterday, Tuesday. All right, today is Wednesday, November the 15th. All right, but the bottom line is the elites are getting ready to make their move. All right, which is really, really to all right, to put it straight, the Most High is getting ready to make his move, what we just read. "Therefore, he the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." So this is the Most High's purpose that he had purposed. All right. And he's using the Edomites to bring about, well, one, he's using the Edomites to bring this punishment, judgment unto the world. First and foremost, you two-thirds of Israel. Okay. Esau is like the Most High's whooping stick, as we say. And so they, well, the Edomites are doing the bidding of the Most High. So the Most High is using them to bring about the judgment of the world. Now we know that Yahweh Shai is coming to finish it, but Esau is going to kick it off. All right? And that means war. All right, but then two, the Most High is using Esau to bring about his very own demise. Okay, because he's in a trick bag right now. He's in deep, and he's still searching for a way to get out, and there is no way to get out of this for Esau Edom. All right, I'm gonna play this video, then we're gonna come back to the scripture, and we're gonna close out with a video. All right, and a quick disclaimer: Alex Jones is gonna go into a little bit of the what the scholars had dubbed the dark ages. He's gonna go into some of that dark age history, but his history is based off of the white, you know, the mainstream perspective. All right, what Esau told us is correct. What Esau tells us is correct is not correct. All right, but yeah, just a quick disclaimer: he's gonna go into some history and just take that with a grain of salt. But the current events that he's speaking about, that's what you need to hone in on. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, let me put the sound back on. All right. This is an emergency alert. The leader of Hezbollah, who reports directly to the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran, in the Islamic dictatorship, the Islamic Shiite dictatorship, has declared war on the United States, and it said that the United States is behind everything Israel is doing. Now, whether you think that's a fact. Well, they working in tandem. All right, U.S. and Israel, the Israelis, they're working in tandem. All right, they have an agenda, and they're going for it. All right, this man here, this Ayatollah, he's on fire. But I just wanted to pause right there for a second, because just to bring to your remembrance, and I'm sure you brothers, y'all already up on it, but they're still pissed about their top general, Soleimani. All right, they raised the black flag behind his death, and that's like a vow of revenge when they hoist the black flag. That's a vow of revenge. So they hadn't forgot that. All right, and the whole world is in an uproar about the. Nobody's calling it what it is. They're saying genocide. It is genocide over in Gaza. With the Palestinians, but it is also ethnic cleansing, because they're just disposing of all people in that region. Okay, that's ethnically, ethnic, yeah, ethnically cleansing that land. All right, because they got plans for that land. All right, and this is how this devil does. Scripture tells us. All right, well, in Micah 2, and matter of fact, let me get that while it's fresh on my mind. All right. He covered fields and take them by violence. That's what's going on in Gaza. Them people was there long before these imposters showed up, and now these imposters show up, and ever since they, in true Edomite fashion, as the cancers that they are, all right, you give them a foot, they take a leap year or a light year. All right, you give them a foot, they'll take a light year. Or you give them an inch, and they'll take a mile. All right, in true Edomite fashion. I'm going to read from Micah chapter 2 right now. Then we'll go right back, finish that video, unless any other precepts come to mind. Now, this is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. All of this was premeditated. All right? This wasn't no random attack by the Palestinians and the Israelis responding. All right? Because if you know the narrative, the mainstream narrative, they say it took IDF, Israeli Defense Force, 30 minutes to respond, and they said that shit, that security is so tight that they know if a bug come across, this is just something I heard. But the point being is, you just don't, you're not gonna get away with that. All right, coming into Israeli airspace and crossing their borders on gliders, and it took them 30 minutes to respond, right? Because this was a false flag. This is the very definition of a false flag. All right. So all that to say, they devised this iniquity. I'm just using this latest example. He's done it all throughout his history of being in rulership. That's his MO. And so here in Micah is saying, woe, meaning this death and destruction coming to you. Woe is a stern warning that judgment is at hand for you. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, all right? They put it into motion. They get it going, all right? They get that ball rolling on that wickedness, all right? When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, right? The Most High gave them power to do this because they're actually carrying out the Most High's will. So they have the power to do this evil, this wickedness. Verse 2 says, and they covet fields. And you know what? There's some good resources on that land. That land has a lot of cobalt. We need to get in that land. They done found, so many hundred thousands of tons of lithium over here. We need to get in there. They covet fields. Covet is when you want something that the next man has. All right. You ain't happy for him. You ain't gonna work with him to, hey, let me buy some of that from you. No, he covets it. He goes and take it, as the scripture about to say, and they covet fields and take them by violence in houses and take them away. They just been destroying people's homes, all right, with tank fire, uh, probably hellfire missiles by helicopters. They got helicopters firing missiles on houses and cars trying to either leave Gaza or they're trying to come into Gaza. It's just an all-out assault that you will never hear. And what Adams Jones is going to, you'll never hear this in the lamestream media of CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and all that whole paid-for media. Okay? And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house. Tell me them Palestinians are not oppressed. Who the majority of them, if not all, the majority are, in fact, Ishmaelites, who you would know as the Arabs. But there's an outcry right now that, them people being done so bad by Amalek, the least of the flock. They're being done so bad that all of their PR and their press, the positive press and the positive spin and that positive light that they're trying to shine on the situation, people not buying it. Not here in America, which I'm surprised. All right. You got college kids, kids, but they grown adults, young adults. You got young adults in college. All right. They're saying this is wrong. People all over the world. And here you about to, hear the testimony coming from Iran, the Ayatollah, saying this is wickedness. This is wrong. Uh, Turkey speaking out. Oh boy, he saw them. He done ruffled some feathers, and I don't think it's going the way that they expected it to go. But they are expecting war. But they needed the masses to believe in their narrative. They needed the people's energy to be behind Israel, and it overwhelmingly is not. Okay? So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right, now let's go back and finish this video. This dude was.
Think that's accurate or not, it doesn't matter. War has been declared upon the United States and the people of America by Hezbollah that is sock puppeting almost all the other Islamic terror organizations. And they have millions of people in Europe that are military-age men and hundreds of thousands that are military-age men in the U.S. And they are saying they're preparing to attack us. Do you understand? The article's on Infowars.com with the video of the leader speaking to the Iranian government, the Iranian parliament, laying this out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is happening now. This is an emergency situation. The globalists are manipulating us from behind the scenes to bring in a global crisis so Biden can cancel the election, and they can use the war as the pretext for claiming that that's why the economy has imploded. So
exactly, to destroy the SWIFT and bring in the CBDCs. This is all in the timing. All right? Ain't that what they used to say? Timing is everything. I think that's the phrase. Timing is everything. And when you look at the time that we're in, right, it would make perfect sense that they would strike now with the holidays coming up. Then they'll have all of this beautiful pretext. As Alex Jones stated, to cancel the elections, usher in the CBDCs.
The globalists don't get the blame. They can be the saviors and bring in their new central bank digital currency, the ESGs, and more. This is an emergency alert.
Palestine,
I got
the Security Council, the
News today.
we all must establish this fact. The United States is totally responsible for the war raging in Gaza against unarmed, defenseless people. It is the United States that vetoes condemnation of Israel in the Security Council. It is the United States that stands on the way of a ceasefire in Gaza. It is the United States proving once again, as described by Khomeini, it is the greatest Satan, the great devil, from Hiroshima to Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine. The United States must be held liable and then penalized for all what it has been perpetrating against our people and the peoples of the region. And there comes the decision by the Islamic resistance movement in Iraq to launch offenses against the American bases in Iraq and Syria, considering that the United States is controlling the war in Gaza, and it is the United States that must pay the price for the crimes perpetrated by the Israelis in Gaza and by the Americans in Iraq and elsewhere.
You are about to get real history. Alert. You are about to get the facts. Side issue. When you read the letters.
Because the real history in the Bible, if he's not bringing out the Bible, it's not real history. All right, it's secular history. Real history, the scriptures record real history and then prophesize future events that would later become history. Okay? So he has a sharp knowledge of history as it was told to him by his Edomites. Now, he might have some inside knowledge that's on point, but I don't want to hear that textbook shit.
And you read the documents from the time going back 500, 600 years ago.
He makes a good point. If I can't find it, that the point been proven here, but he made a good point that Hezbollah, they're the ones that got all of that $85 billion of equipment that was left in Afghanistan. So they're ready. They're ready for this, showing you that all of this is orchestrated. We are witnessing the grand theater of war. All right, I say grand because this is going to be the blowout. This is going to be the blowout. All right.
For a war. And they would then have a big war that would last sometimes 10 years, 50 years longer, War of the Roses, so that they could control their domestic populations because a war was going on. And that got rid of deals with the Republicans to have hostages and blame Jimmy Carter and have that whole situation to get Carter out of office. And that's been partially declassified. Not saying Jimmy Carter's good, but it was just something that went on. That's just historical the Roses, so that they could control their domestic populations because a war was going on. And that got rid of talking to his cousin, the King of France, and they would basically talk about uprisings they were having and problems unifying the different tribes that were in England, the British, so we get the term British, and the, of course, Welsh and others. And they would basically say, time for a war.
The British was Jake, originally Barayath, Ayash, British, all right, the covenant man, Barayath, Ayash, British, all right, that's what the term goes back to. Those was Israelites, all right, the covenant man, or men.
And they would then have a big war that would last sometimes 10 years, 50 years longer, War of the Roses, so that they could control their domestic populations because a war was going on, and that got rid of the excess young men and people. So you have to understand the Iranians are even an older culture than the Vikings and the Norman. People think of Vikings just raiding villages. No, the Vikings actually took over what founded modern Europe. Of course, with the Roman antecedent before that, but expanding on this, the Iranians made deals with the Republicans to have hostages and blame Jimmy Carter and have that whole situation to get Carter out of office, and that's been partially declassified. Not saying Jimmy Carter's good, but it was just something that went on. That's just historical fact. And so the globalists don't control the Iranians, but they are able to make deals with them behind the scenes to not nuke the Iranians, and then just have a war with them, a conventional war, a limited conventional war, that allow the Iranians to clamp down and have power and control, and will also allow the West to clamp down and have control. And I've been understanding this for a long time, and that's why it's so key now that Hezbollah has officially said they're going to start attacking U.S. targets around the world, including inside the United States. And I said that back on October 7th, so I'm going to break that down right now. And then I'm going to play just a few of the clips where probably 50 times in the last month I've explained that this was coming next. This is a big deal. It'll be a real war, but it'll be limited, and the agreement's been made behind the scenes, and that's why Biden gave them $187 billion of weapons in Afghanistan and $6 billion just a month before they attacked Israel. The fix is in. They're going to try.
Sure did. I'm thinking it was 85 billion. He's saying 187. You know, is that what he said? Because that's the police code for murder.
The fix is in. They're going to try to suspend. It will be limited, and the agreement's been made behind the scenes, and that's why Biden gave them $187 billion of weapons in Afghanistan.
Billion. So he's speaking in code right there. All right. It's going to be some 187. All right. On U.S. soil.
And $6 billion just a month before they attacked Israel. The fix is in. They're going to try to suspend the election coming up in 12 months. So this is the most dangerous time in world history we've seen, because even though they've got deals and alliances at the top, secret agreements like Stalin and Hitler had, they'll end up turning against each other in the end, just like World War II. History is definitely repeating itself.
All right, so there you have it. All right, and if Iran does that, and then it sparks a retaliation response from the whore, U.S., you will see.
So in this particular house,
that you will see Ezekiel 38 come into play. All right. Ezekiel 38 verse 1, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, Set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, and prophesy against them. All right, Gog and Magog is in reference to Russia. All right, so just the mere fact that it says the chief prince. All right, and Apostle Tahar broke this down. All right, it never dawned on me to go into it, but even in the margin of my Bible, it says the prince of Rosh. All right, Rosh, because it's talking about Russia. And Apostle Tahar broke it down so that we have this understanding. All right, it's not Rosh, it's Ra'ash Shar. Ra'ash is head or chief, Shar is prince. All right, but they put an English transliteration in my scriptures as Rosh. Well, we're talking about Russia, Ra'ash Shar. Hey, it's right there, Ra'ash Shar. Russia. Okay, that's the chief. The chief prince means Russia. Ra'ashar. It says of Meshach. It's talking about Moscow. All right, Meshach, Moscow. We're talking about Russia. Tubal means ancient mountain. Okay, ancient government. This is because they go way back. Not under the Edomites. All right, because originally Gog, Magog, Meshach, Tubal are Japhites, but Esau took over that land. All right. So, but we're talking about the Edomites here over in Russia. All right. Moscow. Russia military might comes out of Moscow. All right. Putin rules out of Moscow, just as really Biden is commander in chief of the Pentagon out of DC. So it's getting ready to go down. It says, and prophesy against them. Verse 3, and say, thus said the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince, right, Ashar, of Meshach and Tubal, the chief prince of Moscow and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. All right, and the Most High is going to turn them back to that old bear spirit of the Soviet Union. Okay, why this is why this campaign is taking place out of Moscow by Putin and Russia to reclaim Ukraine. That's a part of the Most High putting hooks in their jaws. He's turning them back against where they had these agreements with the U.S. and was somewhat at peace with the U.S. Yeah, the Most High has put an enmity between Russia and the U.S. He's turning back, all right, Russia from that go along to get along spirit to that hardcore Soviet Union communism spirit. All right, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company. All right, Russia is a vast military power, land, sea, and air. All right, they are the top right now. They're the top military on the earth. China would come in a close second. At one point, it was the U.S., and they held it down for a minute. But the U.S. has been systematically destroyed from within, all right, purposely. So now they teaching Moism, Boism, and all this old cuckoo goofy shit in the military. So you can hang America up, all right? Russia is a dominant force, but hey, it says with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. All right, Persia is Iran. Iran that's the nation of people of Elam. Those are Elamites, all right? Persia. That name was changed in 1935 to Iran. Ethiopia is still Ethiopia today, the Hamites, and as well as Libya, all right? Because you know Libya's still pissed about Gaddafi. All of these countries are suffering at the hands of the U.S., all right? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. It says Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee. All right. Gomer and Togarmah, those are also ancient Japhetic peoples that now is referring to still as the Edomites, though. Okay, yeah, 7. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right. So Russia, the Most High set Russia up to be a guard to Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Persia is Iran. They just called the U.S. out and said that they're going to hit you heard the, so you ain't got to rely on Alex Jones. He gave you the receipt. Ayatollah said it himself. We will strike U.S. targets. Iraq, Syria. He said even in the U.S. All right. U.S. is going to naturally retaliate. And then here comes the big old she-bear, Mother Russia. So, yeah, Russia is set to be their guard. So we are on the brink, all-out war breaking out. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or even next month. All right, however the Most High wants it to play out, it's going to play out. But you heard it. All right, so I'm going to go out with this. Well, let me say this again. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. All right. I pray that you brothers are edified, and I'm going to let you go. I'm going to end it with this clip. So, shalom.
Ey İsrail, sende atom bombası, nükleer bomba var ve bununla tehdit ediyorsun. Bunları biz biliyoruz. Ve artık ecelin geliyor. İstediğin kadar nükleer bombaya sahip ol. Neye sahip olursan ol ama gidicisin. Ey İsrail, ey İsrail, sende atom bombası